Tonight, Democrats, they are in a full panic. Their socialist policies are a disaster. Their poll numbers are imploding. Their president is a dishonest, corrupt, and cognitive wreck. And their war on free speech is now being challenged in a huge way by Elon Musk, who's attempting to take over their favorite social media platform, that is Twitter. We'll have a lot more on that later in the program. But first, we're at the beginning of what is another long weekend away from the White House for the leader of the free world. Today, before jetting off to Camp David, Joe Biden took some time to blame the war in Ukraine and all of his failures on somebody. Take a look.
Putin's invasion of Ukraine has driven up gas prices and food prices all over the world. Ukraine and Russia are the 1 and 2 largest wheat producers in the world. We're number 3. They're shut down. We saw that in yesterday's inflation data. What people don't know is that 70% of the increase in inflation was a consequence of Putin's price hike because of the impact on oil prices. 70%. We need to address these high prices, and urgently, for working folks out there.
All of that is a complete and utter lie. And who's he shaking hands with? Just shake. There's nobody there. We're nearly 15 months into Biden's presidency. Everything is going wrong, and I mean everything. I can't name a single thing that's going right. By the way, anybody surprised? Biden cannot even do simple, fundamental, basic tasks. He turns around, nobody there to shake his hand, and he keeps his hand out there. Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, inflation at a 40-year high and getting higher. Food costs, the cost of every item you buy in every store is now going through the roof. Energy costs, well, you never paid more in history for a gallon of gasoline, and the cost to heat and cool your home is through the roof. On top of that, rents have now increased by over 17%. Interest rates, I read today, it's about 5% for a 30-year fixed. Wasn't that long ago you were getting it in the 2s. They're rising fast. Real wages are down by 3%, and Biden's Green New Deal economy is now a living nightmare for you, the American people, for all of us. But remember, according to the administration, America's historic inflation has nothing to do with Biden's trillions of dollars in new handouts, and the record-setting energy costs have nothing to do with Biden's restrictions on oil and gas. You can see right from the charts. We'll keep putting them up and down. Up is down, down is up in their weird world. And by the way, everything bad that happens is Vladimir Putin's fault, and as those graphs show, that is a lie. And thankfully, Americans can see through the total, bull Schiff, as in Adam Schiff.
President Biden is trying to label this Putin's price hike. But most Americans, according to an NBC News poll, are not buying that. Only 6% blame Putin. Most believe President Biden's policies are very much to blame.
All right, new poll from Quinnipiac that just came out yesterday. Biden's approval rating at an all-time low. Look at this, 33%. That's it. His approval among Hispanic Americans is even lower. 26%. Biden is underwater by double digits in 5 recent polls, but Americans aren't just unhappy about the economy. They also disapprove about Biden's handling of Ukraine, crime, COVID, and, of course, the disaster at the southern border, never mind the disastrous pullout in the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan, where he abandoned Americans, fellow green card holders that are legally eligible to be here, left billions in high-tech military equipment, some $80 billion worth, abandoned our Afghan allies. Now, tonight, as Biden extends the mask mandates on Americans traveling on trains and planes, guess what? Preferential treatment. He's lifting all COVID restrictions on illegal immigrants that are pouring across the border. Isn't that great? And on May 23rd, Title 42 will be lifted, preventing the federal government from expelling migrants over COVID-19 concerns. And that means more massive migrant caravans. They're on the way. A majority of Americans believe Biden is making a huge mistake, and for good reason. Because right on cue, the first of what will be many caravans is only days away. Now, this problem at the border is so bad and about to get so much worse. In fact, border officials are now bracing for more than 500,000 migrant encounters next month alone. Instead of fixing the problem, reinstating President Trump's successful border policies, building the wall, bringing back Remain in Mexico policy, ending catch and process and release, well, the Biden administration, they're now considering a plan to take VA doctors out of VA hospitals so those VA doctors for our vets can assist with the ongoing crisis. In other words, they'll take away doctors from our VA hospitals, from American veterans, to provide their services to illegal immigrants. Does that sit right with you? Because that does not sit right with me. Biden and the far-left climate-obsessed socialists around him, they're literally destroying the country right before our eyes. It is so bad, even late-night liberal host Bill Maher has issued this warning. They won't heed it, but they should, to his fellow Democrats. Take a listen.
There is a hunger for, I think, in America more than anything, is common sense.
Yes.
Away from the extremes. I mean, when people say to me, you know, don't you think you've gotten more conservative? No, I haven't. The left has gotten goofier.
Yes.
So I seem more conservative, maybe, but like, it's not me who changed.
Yes.
I feel I'm the same guy. I'm always saying to the Democrats, just don't be the party of no common sense. And you will be surprised at how much amazing success you will have, as opposed to what's going to happen, which is they're going to get their ass kicked in November.
By the way, I finally agree with Bill Maher, and I would agree with his assessment. He's not really changed. He's never liked me. I've never particularly liked him, but he's pretty smart, intelligent, and Democrats, they'd be wise to actually listen to him. Many of his fellow Democrats have gone absolutely insane. Common sense is dead in this new Green Deal, climate alarmist, religious cult Democratic Party. They've gone nuts. The liberals in the party have been replaced with far-left socialists who don't believe in freedom of speech. They believe in cancel culture. They believe in woke everything. They don't seem to believe in capitalism or a constitution either. They just worship all things at the altar of climate change, and they want to fundamentally transform the country into something that would be unrecognizable. Now, 7 months from now, during the midterm elections, it is imperative to take nothing for granted. Get to the polls, send these socialists an important message before our country is at a point of no return. It's that bad. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.